Hello and welcome to the Monster Sanctuary Tournament Circuit. This is the third match of the round of 8 of the 5th tournament of Season 1, which is Grid Draft. I am Smug-Looking Barrel.
And I'm Flowing Juffawa. And our match today is going to be between Julio on the left and Dos Equis on the right.
So immediately going into the draft, we see a whole bunch of debuff support. It's likely that Dos Equis taking Oculus and Elder Gel, so he wants to probably get ahead of the debuffs and pick one of the best debuff counters in Elder Gel, while Guilio is going to take some strong debuff users.
And of course, Fungi allows you to just run aggro debuff yourself as long as you get something that can take advantage of it.
Absolutely. Guilio gets first pick for this pack and picks Shockhopper, probably going along with the debuff theme, while Dos Equis is going to grab some Restore in Scorch and another strong damage dealer in Conko.
Yeah, so we've got some strong synergy towards charge and buffs on Dos Equis' side now.
Yeah, getting that Targo really big for him.
Yeah. And Sycophantum also is really strong, especially next to Targot.
Yeah, providing that Restore as well as all those charge synergies. Guilio might be trying to pivot away from the debuffs, taking a strong generic damage dealer in Spinner, though he's going to close out his draft with Stolby and Blob.
And adding Mad Eye there in that pick is also good for just general debuff.
That's very true. And Dos Equis is going to close with what I feel is the star of so many of these tournaments, Mimic, who can customize its attacks to really fit whatever your opponent is running, since it has 5 different elemental attacks. Dos Equis will probably tailor his Mimic to hits for weakness against whatever monsters Guilio is likely running. He also picks up Keelan, which is one of my favorites. Very effective charge monster.
Yeah, that's a really strong last pack because Yukan is also a really powerful attacker.
Yeah, both players, I feel, really getting what they want in the last pack, able to round out their drafts nicely. So I'm expecting to see some sort of debuff synergies from Guilio against a charge-based buff team from DOS, but we could certainly see some wildcards from both players. So let's see what they go to. So
a multitude of viable monsters in both pools here, so each player is going to have the opportunity between games to switch things up depending on what the opponent does and try to adjust.
Guilio getting the first turn here, which I think is really advantageous for him. He'll be able to get some debuffs onto the enemy team before they have an opportunity to one-shot one of his monsters, which is likely what DOS could have done if he had an opportunity to attack with Elder Gel before Guilio acted. So let's see how Guilio handles his first turn.
And of course, the reason that Julio is going first here is because coming into the playoffs, being the number 1 seed, having gone undefeated to this point, the higher seed gets that choice for game 1.
So leading up with Freeze from Shockhopper, and it looks like we're seeing a much more offensively focused Vizuki. It goes for the Ignite and is able to take down the Mimic first turn. That's something I didn't expect.
Yeah, seeing it light shifted is kind of a bit of a giveaway that you're not trying to build combo with it.
Yeah.
You just want that extra bulk so it can sit around and take advantage of that death blow passive that it has.
Yeah, though Dos Equis is able to bring in Heal's Elder Gel and immediately knock out the Shockhopper in retaliation. But this gives Guilio a chance to attack it, and he does have, Vizuki rather, has a move to hit Elder Gel in Tackle, though he's going to need another Mon to break the Protect from Targot.
Yeah, a little bit awkward when your second acting monster is Yaoi, which does not really want to be attacking, doesn't have much to make its attacks worthwhile. Much better healing and playing passively.
Would much rather support, but you can't be using your attacks into a target at this point. And it does look like the debuff damage is enough to bring Elder Gel down to its Phoenix affinity, and we see a very important passive here in Severe Upkeep, able to apply those wound stacks and punish healing, though not enough to keep Elder Gel out, below full health.
Yeah, and we see another very strong passive in the taunt there from the Yaoi.
able to block a lethal attack, but does get knocked out for it. Now we have Mad Eye, which looks to be kitted out specifically to help break protect. We see the level 5 Ignite, which Mad Eye doesn't often run.
And what we see just now doesn't make a lot of sense if you understand the combo system, because we had someone attacking and then using a healing action right after. But the reason for that is the combo initiator, which gives an extra hit and increases the damage if Mad Eye attacks first.
Yeah. Though I generally feel that passive is overvalued. One extra hit is certainly something, but usually the 25% damage you get from combo initiator is less than just the damage you get from combo of having your healer act first. But worked out for Gilio in this case, and it's not a big difference.
Yeah, I generally just take the extra hit when I can get it. Good enough just for that, I think, usually.
That's fair.
Especially when you got Proliferate. I mean, if you don't have something with Proliferate, I don't think it's as good, like on, say, Salahammer. I don't normally take it, but if you've got Proliferate, every hit matters.
Yeah, and Stolby able to keep the team healthy here with Mass Restore and keep debuffs off of it. And it seems like that's enough. The healing, the debuff removal is enough to bring Dos Equis down to just 2 monsters, though he brings in his Glowfly and gets massive damage off.
Yeah,
the problem now Gilio still has 3 monsters, one of which has Revive.
Yeah, and Glowfly trying to take out a Goblin King and a Vizuki is kind of a tall order. Never mind the fact that you've got the Stolby there to just get either of them up unless you take Stolby out first.
Yeah. Another issue for Glowfly here is Poison Nerves, a passive that Vizuki has. And another issue for it is being immediately killed and Dos Equis forfeiting. But Glowfly has a lot of mana but spends it really fast, so Poison Nerves can be a big detriment.
Dos Equis takes a lot of poison damage too.
Absolutely. Dos Equis losing the first game chooses to go first. That makes sense to me. Looks like Gilio's...
You can come in instead of Blowfly.
I like that adaptation, honestly. I think
Glowfly
is really like a one-hit wonder, but Dos Equis really needs consistent damage to take out these tanky debuff mons.
And I think you've got a better matchup attack-wise when you've got the physical and the bleed and water damage as well, which is going to be good for taking out Vizuki.
For sure. It also has Brawn over Brains, which works really well with full offense that Scorch has.
Yes, yeah.
So we're seeing Dos Equis considering his attack with Mimic opts for none, sets up with full protect. So he'll hopefully be able to.
I wonder if there was a misclick on that turn, putting all the buffs onto Targoat. I think that's probably what happened.
Like there was a forfeit. Yeah.
Yeah. So they might have agreed to just restart that game.
Yeah.
I think.
Seems like something odd happened there. Not sure what that was.
Yeah, because you don't normally want to cast the full offense on your Targoat.
Probably not.
A little bit of behind-the-scenes footage here. Riveting stuff.
Yes.
All right, we're back into it.
All right, let's try that again.
So I imagine we will not see the same opening.
Both players, and hopefully no full offenses onto any targets this time. Hey, uses it on the minute. Perfect.
Yeah. A lot of debuffs ending up on the Targoat initially, which is certainly not the worst thing for Dos Equis, because you'd rather have them on Targoat than either of the other two, I think.
Absolutely. Here we see one of the strengths of Gilio's team. Not only does he have 2 monsters with Taunt, but they each are resist the other's weakness. So Mimic can't really go for a fire attack into Shockhopper, which would probably knock it out, because if Vizuki taunts, it'll do nothing. And likewise, he can't go for a water attack, because if Yaoi taunts, it'll do nothing.
And losing Mimic is not great, obviously, but being able to bring in your Elder Gel and protect it and get it fully buffed up, you'll take that.
Yeah.
The Elder Gel is the best option against a debuff-heavy team.
Yeah, I do think it's correct to keep it in the back to make sure that you could bring it in safely. Though another monster that is very devastating if it can be brought in safely is this Mad Eye, attacking with Cataclysm to build massive combo and apply a bunch of debuffs to the enemy. And that looks like it's powered up Vizuki enough to knock Scorch out, maybe?
Not quite.
Nope, Scorch does survive, but that wound stack is going to punish its healing.
Yeah, everything with some wound stacks on it right now. And no Purify. Well, Purify in the back if Oculus comes in, but that doesn't help right now.
Yeah, we also see full heal on Scorch. I was really expecting it to run Mega Restore, but helping out a little here, able to get the Scorch back to full HP, where Mega Restore probably wouldn't.
We might see that switch up when Dos Equis is changing things around for the next game. Mega Restore is a very strong ultimate to have access to.
Yeah, tackle into the Elder Gel, able to exploit its weakness to neutral, and take it out. But here we see the Crab, full offense onto it, able to apply 2 might buffs because of Brawn over Brains, and the long slash dealing heavy damage, not resisted by Shockhopper because of Water Allegiance.
Yeah, things aren't looking great for Dos Equis right now. Everything is seemingly coming up in the other direction.
Yeah, especially losing his revive user and only having the Ukon. It can definitely threaten Stolby, which is a benefit here, and look at that damage.
Huge amount of damage there.
But Gilio has a turn with 3 whole monsters. And I've been quite surprised at how effective Gilio's team has been at just putting out the damage, being able to leverage Death Blow and other debuff-based passives to, even though he's supposed to be, a tanky team that deals damage over time, he's able to really threaten fast kills as well.
Yeah, we're seeing
and that really helps
massive amount of damage output.
Ukon does survive the 5 poison debuffs, and Oculus doesn't care about wound stacks because it has Purify. But here's the attack from Ukon, unfortunately not taking anything out.
I think
Goblin King, you rarely see it, but it also has a Revive.
Yeah, you have to take out the Goblin King here to have a chance.
And it looks like Goblin King is just going to take out this Ukon here.
Yeah, the Oculus having 27 charge stacks is not enough that it can get a team wipe going the other direction, so we're going to move on to game.
Not on its own. The Dos Equis is going first again. We see same teams as last time.
Yeah, Dos with the back against the wall now, down 2 games in a 1-3 win series.
Yeah. We'll see if we see any adaptations from his lead. I haven't disliked his lead, but it hasn't really been working. And yeah, we see him leading the Elder Gel this time. And
full offense. Not onto Targoat.
Not onto Targoat. Onto Elder Gel, who has Brains over Brawn, and it's able to get 2 sorcery buffs. And we see Yaoi taunting the Bubble Burst. And it doesn't actually resist water. I believe it resists wind. But it's still able to live that Bubble Burst because it's not weak to it and protect the Vizuki.
And it just has an absolutely massive hit point pool to work with.
For sure, just incredibly, incredibly tanky.
A lot of damage coming
Normally I'd say Elder Gel is incredibly tanky, but Vizuki does not seem to care.
Not an ideal start for Dos Equis here.
No.
What this Mimic can do.
Frost Pierce doesn't get taunted, which is good. Able to take out the Vizuki. That's certainly a good start. The Vizuki was really a thorn in his side, but Gilio is now able to bring in this Mad Eye. We see the Cataclysm, just so many debuffs.
Yeah.
And a 30-hit combo is very impressive as well. That's going to add a lot of damage.
Not a not really a strong DPS on the field right now. When you have that much combo, pretty much anything is going to do good damage.
Yep. And, I mean, Shockhopper is certainly not weak either. We see here one of the problems with Scorch. Scorch has great healing, having restore, charged healing, critical healing, but it does not have good mana. And with all these chill debuffs, it was able to afford a level 4 restore there, and probably won't be able to afford another one.
Well, it probably won't live long enough with its health looking the way it is.
Probably not. Mimic is able to take out Yowie.
A lot of buffs flying off from the cleanse.
Yeah, 25% chance on hit to remove a buff when you get 16 hits with your attack. That really adds up.
Big damage preview.
I would honestly like to see... Well, it does take out the Mimic. So Scorch, and thus Dos Equis' access to Revive survives, but it's quite low, and opts to go for a full offense and buff the Ukon rather than healing itself. And we see Giga Drill.
Big damage,
is able
splatter.
To crush that Goblin King.
Yeah, that's a very good call, taking out the Goblin King, because you don't want to have 2 revivers in the back line.
Yeah. So we see Shockhopper a little low on mana in its own right, but should still be fine. Still be Arcane Shields itself, which is a little interesting. Gilia doesn't want to lose his access to revive, yeah. And the freeze, together with the poison debuff, is going to take out that Scorch. So Dos Equis is in huge trouble now.
We did see in the last game how easily this UCAN was able to take out Stolby. So if it can do that again here...
We see the Aqua Blast.
Oh, it's close, but not quite a knockout.
Yeah, close, but Stolby does barely survive. Aqua Blast is a great tool to have, being able to ignore dodge. Stolby has good natural dodge, and you see an agility buff, but not enough damage in this case.
So I think here we're seeing some 4D chess. Because Dos Equis went down to 2 monsters to make Cataclysm do less combo. This is where the comeback starts.
The brilliant plan, yes. Though I will say, he does have full shield on all of his monsters, whereas Gilio does not. Gilio really needs to take some time and heal up, and it looks like even after a mass restore, Stolby is not going to heal itself back up to full. And if it goes for Arcane Shield, it leaves Shockhopper very vulnerable. We do see the mass restore.
Yeah, having the light shift on the UCAN allows it to shield itself every time it gets a buff, which can be pretty good for survivability, in addition to its natural bulk.
It's quite a significant shield, too. It's it's a reasonable percent of your max health. So, Ukon is able to keep itself shielded up here, as it does take out that Stolby with a second Aqua Blast, and now this game is much more even. You mentioned last time that 30 charge stack Oculus wasn't able to make offense happen, but 72 charge stack Oculus might be a different story.
Yeah, it's a different territory once you get close to that 100 mark.
Yeah. We see the antidote coming down.
Like Mad Eye that is weak to magic.
Yeah, normally Ukon would have a really hard time breaking through it, but Oculus won't. Especially... we're approaching the first turn of Infinity. Gilio gets access to it first, but unless we're getting some miracle debuff damage, he's not going to be able to knock something out with it. And now Dos Equis has his first turn with it. Let's see if he can knock out something. And Giga Drill takes out that Shockhopper. At this point, it looks like Dos Equis has flipped this game on its head.
Yeah. I told you it was 4D chess.
Yeah, seems to be. The Cataclysm wouldn't build much combo now.
Yeah, that was the key. Going down to 2 monsters early. Try this at home.
You see Dos Equis healing up. Doesn't want to be worn down over time, and he knows that it's going to take a few more Infinity Sacks for the Mad Eye to threaten knockouts on its own. Though he does have to worry about a bit of debuff damage.
Yeah, there's some big ticks coming through.
Yeah.
But we see
The
some
fact that he
big
keeps
charge
going
starting
for
to build up.
Encapsulate makes me think that Oculus still doesn't have enough damage. I'm also very surprised that Oculus, through 4 chill debuffs, is able to continuously use the highest level of its attacks, though taking some turn-offs for potions probably helped.
Yeah. And the Yukon just barely surviving there. It could be,
Yeah.
a lot of
Big
damage.
damage from Aqua Blast, but Mad Eye resisting physical does survive, but he's going to need to take out at least Ukon and probably also Oculus this turn.
Yeah, I think Dose is going to pull this off here. Even
Yep. The debuffs do finally knock out Ukon, but Oculus is going to defeat his fellow Eye monster and save Dos Equis' tournament run for the moment. But
little
he's
bit
up
orb on
against the
orb
wall
violence.
again.
So we do see another change up here. We see Sycophantom coming in place of what went out? Oculus. Oculus went out.
I like
after
that
being the
adaptation.
hero.
After being the hero, yes. But not only does Dos Equis really need debuff removal, but Jolly Spirit is quite an underrated passive in these cases.
Yeah,
Able
Congeal on
to
the other
reduce
side
mana cost.
especially.
But losing his Elder Gel on the first turn is a huge blow. That's really, really good for Guilio.
Yeah, we've seen the script kind of flipped because in earlier games we saw Mimic come out first and take the early hit so Elder Gel could come in. But maybe counting on this Mimic being able to snowball a little bit easier.
Yeah, this time with the extra charge stacks and buffs, Mimic, even though it gets taunted, is able to at least take out something. Yaoi, a reasonable target to take out. But this looks like it's going to be a big attack for Guilio. He might be able to knock out 2 monsters here. Yeah, there's the Ignite. Melts the 4 Scorch.
Yeah, a lot
Guilio
of
checking the buffs. So many buffs on Mimic, but also so many debuffs on Sycophantom.
Now, Targot comes in to try and keep these two healthy a little bit longer.
Yeah, I will say, Yaoi being down, denying Guilio access to Congeal, probably saved Sycophantom there.
Absolutely. Yeah, with I think it had 4 chill stacks on it, right?
Yup. And Mimic able to get another kill, just obliterating that poor Vizuki with its Frost Pierce. So far, Dos Equis' strategy has been protect the Mimic, and it has been working out.
I think here, if you're Julio, you want to take out Sycophantom while it's low, because if you have Sycophantom and Targot out together for a while, they can start building up tons of barrier buffs on the entire team, which makes it very tough to get through them.
For sure, though it feels bad to leave Mimic unscathed for another turn with how much damage it's doing.
Yeah.
And we see Mimic able to fight through the chill debuffs and poison nerves from Vizuki just with its incredibly high natural mana regeneration.
I think that was enough to kill 3 Stolbies.
Probably, yes. So now Guilio brings in his last, which is Goblin King. Certainly a mon with high damage potential, but I feel like this isn't really the team for it. Goblin King wants to be on a buff-focused team.
Yeah.
Though Shockhopper and Mad Eye can certainly contribute damage just through dominance and combo.
This is kind of tough now because with this Mimic having so many buffs, you have to kill it this turn or else it's going to absolutely obliterate your Goblin King.
Yeah.
But Targot there.
Guilio's instead goes for the Targot. And
it's
luckily for Dos, unfortunately for him, Targot does survive.
Yes, that's roughly, yeah.
We still do see reasonable combo coming out from that Cataclysm. and a big freeze, but while Gilio is able to get reasonable debuff damage, it's just not enough to really pressure through Sycophantum's big restores.
Yeah, that took off 6 debuffs there, it looked like. So restoring wand, in addition to the restore, you're going to be able to keep a lid on the debuffs pretty well.
Definitely seems sensible. So, Mana probably going down here. It does resist every attack from both Mimic and Ukon, but stands strong for one turn, but Gilio does forfeit. I wonder if Gilio will switch out Goblin King to something else. And yes, he does. We see Toxicus coming out.
I'm a big fan of the Seahorse personally, so I think that's a pretty good move.
Yeah, and I like it here. And we do see the tackle from Vizuki able to deal quite severe damage to Elder Gel, but because of its healing and debuff resistance, is able to survive the hit and the follow-up debuff damage, and Sycophantum's able to heal it back up to full. We see the full offense coming in from Scorch, and big damage from Elder Gel. Goes for the Whirlpool, and is able to take out that Vizuki.
Yeah, and completely cleanses all the debuffs from itself with a combination of Whirlpool and Golden Age there.
For sure, that's one of the big advantages to having Elder Gel, and something that Gilio didn't really need to worry about in previous games because he was able to take it out so quickly. Now is going to be a real threat. Bringing in his Stolby, and we see the Blizzard. I'm expecting that this Stolby might have some sort of damage if he's bringing it in here. And yeah, we do see it seems to have level 5 Spectral Flame, almost certainly specifically to take out this Elder Gel. We do see the damage preview. That doesn't look the greatest, but
yeah, big crit
see,
right in the middle of that attack there.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it got at least 1, maybe 2 double strike procs, which is a 10% chance on hit to do another hit. And I think it needed those procs to take out that Elder Gel because that wasn't looking like a lethal preview. So that's a big swing for Gilio, but here comes another swing right back. Dos Equis is able to bring in his Mimic. His 2 great buffers are able to apply a whole bunch of damage buffs to it, and it's able to knock the Stolby out right back.
Yeah, and we saw how deadly that Mimic can be last game when it gets a bunch of buffs on it. And it's at it again here already with 2 Spell Shield buffs on it, thanks to Buff Mastery from Scorch.
Yeah, and it has critical mass, so with all the crits it's getting, it can buff itself even more. You know, the debuffs are trying to pressure Dos Equis' supports, but with Restore on both of them, he's able to keep them both alive still fairly well. We see the Mega Restore coming out here, removes so many debuffs from the team, and Mimic Tackle gets taunted by Yaoi, and it barely survives that bleed, but it's likely not going to be able to heal itself up next turn.
Yeah, pretty clutch turn either way from Yaoi there, taking the hit and then surviving.
Yeah, at the very least, Mimic, we basically know, is not running an area of effect attack. Its only area of effect attack is Flurry of Blows, and we've seen it use Tackle, so it almost certainly does not have both. Yeah, so at the very least, Dos Equis...
Frost Pierce as its ultimate as well.
Yeah. So at the very least, Dos Equis can't, like, casually take out that Yaoi while targeting another damage dealer, but we do see him going for the Shock Hopper and is able to take it out in a single hit. Just Mimic's so scary at this point in the game.
Yeah.
So we do see the Toxicus coming in. This is Gilio's trying to adapt in the final game. Goes for the Hades and is able to build quite a bit of combo here.
Yeah, we got a Mimic here with 5 barriers, 28% dodge, hidden behind a Targoat. Very tough ask. Take that out.
Yeah, just so much layers of defense upon defense. Normally, the way you circumvent this is with debuff damage, but Dos Equis is doing a good job of keeping that off too. Between Restoring Wand and Restore from that Sycophantum, and huge tackle from Mimic is able to take out that Toxicus.
Yeah, just not enough offense on Giulio's side to close this out. Which is very surprising considering how the first couple games went.
Yeah, it can really show, like, here Dos Equis was able to establish a foothold, and Targa and Sycophantum being monsters that can help stack defensive buffs. If you give them a little time, they can set up more defense and set up more defense, and eventually, uh, just take all your hits, survive through the debuff damage, and not mimic,
Yeah.
In none of these games was it hurting for damage.
Yeah,
And
just able
Dos
to
Equis,
power
coming
through.
back from the brink of defeat, is able to take this match 3-2 and move on to the semifinals.
Yeah, we saw some really great adjustments there. Like particularly, I think the Sycophantum coming in and being just huge between
Yeah, that was a
Barrier and
great boon
Restore.
to
And,
Dos Equis' team.
yeah,
Yeah.
very strong.
We also saw great play from both players. I especially want to point out Dos Equis' patience waiting while only having 2 monsters against Guiliox 3. It's common to just, say, oh, I only have 2 monsters, I need to concede. But sometimes there are paths to victory there. You've not lost immediately losing the combo and stuff from the 3rd monster. And Dos Equis was able to find a way to victory in one of those games.